Hello, welcome to Professor SNAB, where we aim to make A-level biology as simple as a cell. So today we will be looking into the different factors that contribute to the increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease. So let's begin. So what are these risk factors? So a diet rich in saturated fats. The blood cholesterol level increases, increasing the risk of the formation of atheroma, which increases the formation of blood clots and possibly increasing the risk of a heart attack or a stroke. Sorry, that was supposed to say heart attack. The next point is a salt-heavy diet. So it increases blood pressure, same as the consequences in the previous point. So I'm not going to bore you by saying the same thing over and over again. So each of these risk factors in general, what happens is the blood cholesterol level increases, so which increases the risk of atheroma forming, and that increases the formation of blood clots. And again, that is the whole sequence when it comes to why the different risk factors actually cause cardiovascular disease. Finally, the third point, high blood pressure. So this increases the risk of damage to the artery walls, which increase the risk of atheroma formation, once again leading to CVD. High blood pressure often increases because of diet, stress, excessive alcohol consumption. So one thing you would notice is that the risks of cardiovascular disease is literally the same as the risks of high blood pressure. So once again, leading to why high blood pressure is one of the causes of cardiovascular disease. And this entire sequence of how high blood pressure increases is covered in a previous video, which covers what the entire process of atherosclerosis and blood clotting. So feel free to check that out if you're not familiar with the topic. If not, just continue. So moving on. So next we have smoking. So cigarettes contain carbon monoxide, which combines with hemoglobin and reduces the amount of oxygen being transported around the body, reducing the level of oxygen absorbed by the body. Low levels of the oxygen in the heart and the brain can lead to heart attack and stroke, respectively. So, yeah, if it's low levels of oxygen to the heart, you have heart attacks, and if it's low levels of oxygen to the brain, then you obviously have a stroke. And then second, cigarettes also contain nicotine, which makes the platelets sticky, which increases the chances of blood clots forming, which increases risk of CVD. So this is a point that people often miss out on when questions about cigarettes and cigarettes come up. So people, they talk about carbon monoxide, they talk about like the usual stuff, but they miss out on the nicotine one. So look out for that. Okay, your third point is smoking also decreases the amount of antioxidants in the body. As antioxidants are involved in the cell protection, a decrease of antioxidants can increase the level of cell damage, once again increasing the chances of artery walls being damaged and the cascade of events fall. Once again, all these risk factors, what essentially makes them risk factors is that it increases high blood pressure and leads to all the steps that you would see for atherosclerosis. So when you're answering questions, like if you see a question that shows you a random risk factor you've never seen before, it's literally the same answer. It's the same, what's it called? The same one that they talked about for example, high blood pressure, the same sequence of steps they talked about for high salt diet or like high saturated fat diet. It's the same thing. It's that the high blood pressure increases, and then that leads to the formation of atheroma, the arteries narrow, and then so on and so forth, leading to heart attack and stroke. It's the same steps again and again. So if you see an unfamiliar risk factor, it's the same thing. So do not be scared. So more risk factors. So inactivity, which once again, I'm not going through the same steps again and again. So increases blood pressure. What happens when you increase blood pressure? You're more likely to damage your artery, and then so on. Again, damage your artery, inflammatory response on the entire steps for atherosclerosis when the cycle repeats. Next, you have genetics. So particular alleles can increase the risk of high blood pressure or high levels of cholesterol. And what happens if you have high levels of cholesterol? Same thing. High blood pressure, and high blood pressure, and like all the steps you have to go through to get atherosclerosis. Next, you have age. Plaque builds up slowly over time, and the same number of steps once again. I'm not going to bore you. So, and then finally, you have gender. So, men are 3 times more likely to develop CVD than premenopausal women. And estrogen increases the levels of good cholesterol. So men have lower levels of estrogen, which is why they're more likely to develop CVD. However, you would see a lot of questions where, like, after a certain age, like after 50, women tend to have a higher risk. So when you answer data related questions that talk about gender being a risk factor of high blood pressure or cardiovascular disease, the the age of the female participants is something that's really good to look out for. So yeah, that is all from Professor Snap today. Once again, quite a short video because this is quite a small topic. Hope this has been useful, and if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. And then yeah, feel free to subscribe or share this to someone who might find this useful, and good luck with your revision.